Okay, so I'm now in conversation with Simon Hooper, who's the CEO and founder of Remy Life. He was a participant in the virtual conference earlier this week, and giving him an opportunity to tell us a little bit about himself, his organization, and his involvement in coronavirus and COVID-19. So Simon, how long have you been involved in medicine?
That's an interesting question. It depends how you define it. In terms of being, I guess, professionally involved with building tech solutions, about 6 or 7 years. But before that, I was involved for 15 years with the care of my mother. And that gave me the experience, frontline experience as to what was required during her care and indeed what was missing during her care.
That's it's interesting you should say that because when I was interviewing Leon Eisen, his involvement in medical practice and his motivation to develop the wearable technology he was using came out of an accident that his father had, and he realised that there was something needed to be able to avoid that situation. So I guess the same applies to you.
That's exactly correct. My background is technology, but in the oil field. I was one of those that brought tech in the early days to the oil industry. So I watched adoption take place there. And when I became involved in my mother's care, I realized that, of course, there's tech in healthcare, don't get me wrong. But when it came to person-centered care, which is our key focus, the ability of a carer to know the person to the extent that it improves their well-being, the care industry just hadn't adopted technology and wasn't even looking at those new technologies that were emerging that really could enable far better person-centered care. And the reality is, whilst person-centered care is the mantra of the care industry, whether the NHS or care homes, they really can't deliver it because they don't know anything about the person. How can you deliver person-centered care if you don't know anything about the person? You know, you remain a number and not a person, and that's what we sought to change.
Yes.
To make
Yeah, that's very interesting. It's a very similar experience with my mother. My mother died of dementia in a care home, but when she was in an independent living flat, although social services were very good and arranged regular appointments, there were so many changes of carer that nobody really got an opportunity to know my mum on a personal basis. And as you say, it is very important, particularly for the patient. So what was your experience with your mother?
Well, we realized, again with my mother, that not only do carers change non-stop, but care environments change. So the average person will make a care journey that involves the GP, home care, multiple domiciliary carers, the daycare center, memory clinic, assisted living, hospital, care home, nursing-based care home, and then of course palliative care and end of life. That's a multitude of care environments. And the reality is, even clinical data doesn't transfer across those boundaries, but person-centered care, in other words, the data set that we've created that we call electronic life records, which is likes, dislikes, moods, habits, well-being preferences, life story memories, even that data set doesn't move from care provider, care environment to the next, which is crazy really, because it does with Facebook and it does with other social media. Wherever you are, wherever you're working, LinkedIn is there for you. So we thought, you know, why shouldn't it be the same in healthcare? Why shouldn't that data about you be available to carers along that care journey and at whichever care point you're engaged? And that's what we've done. We've built RemyLife.com, which is a starting point for engagement, a sticky engagement location, the app, the companion app that provides to engage with Care Circle and community, and that collects that data through digital activities, and then that stays with you all the way through to end of life, and is made available to the care business as well to help them provide better care. So
Mhm.
it makes a journey with you, basically.
Yeah, I can see the merits of that, and obviously it will have value not only in improving the quality of care, but I think very significantly the sense of well-being of the patient, to feel that they are not a number, that they have an identity. But of
Yeah.
course, today everybody's very sensitive about privacy and personal data being made available to a variety of people. What would you say about that?
Well, that's absolutely correct. The moment we completed our validation of RemindMe Care, Remi as it's called, being usable in all those care sectors, we then set about launching into the consumer space, which we're just about to do in a few weeks' time in partnership with Amazon, Consensus, and various other large organizations. We realized a very different set of requirements were in existence in the consumer space. And they're ones we hear all the time these days, that trust, the right of data ownership, the democratization of data, sovereign identity, in other words, definition of who one is. I mean, basically, it's a vulnerable community, and you have to address the needs of that vulnerable community. And we very quickly realized that blockchain is the solution to that. And with it being the underlying architecture, we can give our members, our Remi Life members, ownership of their data, security and protection from the vulnerability on the internet, but also, in the most important way, inclusion with all that the internet has to offer. So yes, we've adopted blockchain, we're adopting AI, voice technology, the Remi Connect Alexa skills that we launch in a few weeks' time again are a unique set of Alexa skills that make it a very sticky engagement process. So we've created an ecosystem that supports the family, the carers, and all those involved in care using modern technology.
Yeah, I think you've touched on a very good word there, ecosystem. I like that word because I think in order to be able to solve problems as serious as COVID-19, it needs very much a multidisciplinary approach. It needs people from different sectors to come together to bring their expertise to bear on tackling the situation. So I understand from when we spoke at the virtual conference in the week that you have had a lot of demand for your product over the last few weeks.
Oh, it's been remarkable. We sent out an email 10 days ago to our existing client base, which was about 40 or 50 care homes, a number of hospitals, daycare centers, memory clinics. But we also sent out a companion email to our database of all those we've talked to over the years. And we're over 600 care homes now. I don't even know how many. We've had to rebuild our system to enable automated enrolling. And we are already integrated with care planning software, with social care robots, with wearables. That's the nature of our proposition, that it's an ecosystem and therefore entities should work together. Our data can support other products and vice versa. But on the back of what's happened recently, we've been contacted by organizations all over the world. And so we are now struggling joyously to have remilife.com and its companion app be available to everyone on a free basis. So we are giving the system away free, and that's very rewarding. It's challenging because we all need money, but at the moment it's the right thing to do. And yes, we do have a solution that addresses a number of the issues that COVID-19 has caused: loneliness, isolation, lack of connection, a need for digital inclusion, a need for activities and engagements, a way for the grandchildren to be able to engage with grandma remotely. I mean, it's a long list, and they revolve around person-centered care and social engagement. So yes, very busy times.
Well, I wish you every success, and I applaud you for your generosity and contribution to tackling COVID-19. There is a little phrase you use, which I've not heard before, but it struck a chord with me: struggling joyfully. May all of us struggle joyfully
Yes.
through this situation, and hopefully that it will come to a happy resolution as soon as possible. But in the meantime, thank you very much, Simon, for joining me today. Your video will be published alongside the other presenters. And I hope that you will be able to be involved in future events that we're going to be organizing over the next few weeks. So
I very much look forward to that. A lot's going to be happening over the next few weeks for all of us.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I wish you every success, and we'll keep in touch. Thank you.
Thank you, David.